Today, in the never-ending series of outrages, the never-ending series of subversion of our Constitution, the never-ending series and long train of abuses and usurpations, causing Freedom Watch to hold a Third Continental Congress in Philadelphia on July 5th and 6th of this year. Go to freedomwatchusa.org, attend that Third Continental Congress, participate in our declaring independence from a government that no longer represents the people, but only represents itself and special interests, nefarious special interests. And just one example is the hard fact reported this morning that the Biden-Harris regime, the tool, the stooges of the radical left, of radical blacks, radical Muslims, radical Marxians of the Jewish left, radical feminists, radical LGBTQTs, and radical atheists, has now ordered or allowed American embassies to fly the flag of Black Lives Matter, a radical Black group which hates white people, which believes in separatism, which is a domestic terrorist organization, which launders money, no one even knows where it goes, and which has participated in assaults, mayhem, and death of police officers and others. This is what the Biden-Harris regime, basically bending over to the radical left, of which it is a part, is now putting into effect. That comes on the heels of our so-called president. I don't recognize him. He was fraudulently elected along with his fraudulent vice president, Kamala Harris, saying that the biggest problem in this country, said this in a speech 2 weeks ago, was white domestic terrorism. And that dovetails with his butt boy of an FBI director, Christopher Wray, who said the same thing. White domestic terrorism. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Never thought you'd see it in this country. We currently have no country. It's been stolen from us. And that's why we do have, and we're going to act peacefully and legally, our Third Continental Congress, as we have the right to declare independence and to form a new government. I believe the military and the police will back us in this, because at the first part of the Declaration of Independence, it says, when in the course of human events, the sovereign, the rulers, no longer represent the people, they have a right, under the laws of nature and nature's God, to alter or abolish that government and to form a new government with equal rights for everyone in pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. As I said, that's a paraphrase, because the Declaration of Independence is much more eloquent than that. Go to freedomwatchusa.org and read our proposed new Declaration of Independence that we're going to issue. We're going to debate. It's going to be a democratic process. Delegates from all 50 states. Many people will be there in person. Many will be there through Zoom and other means. And I'm sure the world will be watching, just as it watched on July 4th, 1776, when our founding fathers declared to the world the reasons for their separation. A long train of abuses and usurpations. A long train. Coming on top of that, frankly, excuse the French, is the bullshit that we hear coming out of our government, both Democrat and Republican. Of course, the Democrats are simply evil. The Republicans are simply corrupt. All of a sudden, after 600,000 deaths, after the country's been ravaged by COVID-19, the same thing that Freedom Watch, yours truly, and our clients and our experts, Dr. Judy Mikovits, Ken Heckenlively, Francis Boyle, and others have been saying and proving and setting forth under oath for the last year, is that the COVID-19 escaped from a lab in Wuhan, China, and that it's a bioweapon. It was engineered. And that that the Obama-Biden administration, yes, Obama-Biden administration, gave $3.7 million to the Wuhan lab to do research on the seeds of COVID-19, the SARS seeds, because it legally could not be done here. And Fauci was involved. We now hear that coming out. We now hear Republicans calling for a, quote, investigation. They always want an investigation. People like Tom Cotton go on TV, big shot on Sean Hannity. We want an investigation. Well, where have they been for a year as Americans have been dying, as our economy's been ravaged and our emotional health destroyed and put in tatters? It was Freedom Watch who brought a class action in Dallas, Texas, against the communist Chinese. It was Freedom Watch who, with our Israeli colleagues in Jerusalem, brought a class action. What have these worthless people done in Washington, D.C.? And that's why we need a new government. That's why we need new political parties, which I'm forming a new one in a separate organization, the New American Independence Party. Then, last but not least, we see that President Trump, who was in fact stabbed in the back by his own Republican Party, whether it was his Vice President Mike Pence, who stabbed him in the back like Brutus stabbed Caesar in the Roman Senate by not even calling for an audit of the last fraudulent election, and the senators and congressmen who just played a kabuki theater dance because they want Trump's supporters, that they support him. They don't support him. They haven't done squat. And he makes the mistake, and he continually falls for it, of going back to them for cover. Now, he's going back to them for cover because in the next month or so, mark my words, 100%, he's going to be indicted by a rabid leftist district attorney in New York by the name of Cyrus Vance, the son of the Secretary of State under Carter, who so ruined our foreign policy with regard to Iran and other places when he did his dirty work. Well, this prosecutor is doing his dirty work, and Trump will be indicted. And he'll also be indicted by the Attorney General of New York, who campaigned, unbelievable, on the premise that he would get indicted by her. That will finish off Trump. He'll be tied down for years. And it's time for the American people to wake up. There's no political Messiah. There's only one Messiah, Jesus Christ. And there's only one Father, Yahweh, our God. He's not the God of the Muslims. He's not the God of anybody else, but he is the God of us. And this country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. And we must rise up again and wage a second American peaceful and legal revolution. Read my book, It Takes a Revolution. Forget the scandal industry. You can get it at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, all major booksellers. And for a contribution to Freedom Watch of $50 or more, we'll send it to you for free. And if you sign up for the Third Continental Congress, you'll get one for free, signed by me. I want you to read it. I want you to read the Declaration of Independence. I want you to get up off the couch, turn off the clowns like Sean Hannity, who just jiggle change for money, Fox News or Newsmax, which is operated and founded by Christopher Ruddy, who gave $1 million to the Clinton Foundation. That place is a total fraud. They'll go back to Biden and Harris if it suits them, just like they tried to line Hillary's pockets when it looked like she was going to be president. You need to depend on yourself, and you need to invoke the divine providence of the Father and his Son, and we need to get to work. So join me in getting to work and saving this country with actions, not words. You know, Larry Elder says, we have a country to save. Well, that's just words. Words. We don't need words anymore. We need action. So contact me at freedomwatchusa.org. Join our Justice League. Participate in our Third Continental Congress. Support our citizens' grand juries. We're going to have another one tomorrow. We're indicting Fauci and China, communist China, over COVID-19 and the bioweapon. And let's get to work. Yes, we do have a country to save. And we need to resurrect it from the dead, because that's where it is right now, under total leftist control, with the stooges Biden and Harris running the show. Now, even allowing embassies to fly the flag of Black Lives Matter. They might as well let them fly the flag of the Ku Klux Klan, because they're the flip side of the same coin. Both racists. That's my message for today. Tune in tomorrow for another special podcast. Until then, stay safe. Remember that God helps those that will help themselves. And thank you for listening to me.